Okay.
All right, man. How you doing today? How is it?
Really good.
Howdy, howdy. How is it going?
Right here, sir.
Awesome, man. Yeah. So the topic we want to discuss a little is short-term noise versus long-term goals, and how to, kind of ignore the short-term noise and focus on the long-term goal. But you shouldn't close your eyes at all, because like sometimes short-term things are important too. So yeah, where should we start, Leon? What do you think?
Well, I think maybe we can first of all talk about how we kind of got to that topic, right?
Yeah.
Because I quickly want to tell a little story. I was actually gonna have that on a story in Instagram as well, but then I just didn't do it because I fell asleep.
Yeah.
To be honest, because I was so beat. Um, but the reason why we got to that topic was actually because 2 days ago I was at a friend's house until like 1:30 in the morning, and then my sister texted me and she's like, "Where are you at?" And I'm like, "I'm at a friend's place. Why are you asking?" And then she's like, "Well, there was this accident happening today, and I was just wondering if you're okay and like that you had safe travels home." And I mean, we have a good relationship, my sister and I, but this was really special because it just caught me. And I was like, I'm running on this rails every day, trying to do stuff, hanging out with people, doing the podcast, doing several other projects. And all she was concerned about in that moment was my safety and personally caring about a person that she loved, which is her big brother.
Mhm.
And that caught me, and that made me realize that oftentimes when we are on the way of achieving goals and we're in this tunnel vision, we often forget about what's maybe even more important, namely caring about people that are close to us, and yeah, our dear loved ones, and just their basic health and how they were doing. And
Mhm.
that's when I told you that story, you got to the point where you said, that's also the same thing as when people always just think about tomorrow or the end of today, but they don't think ahead on a long term. Because of course, all the goals are important, but which is also important is the relationship to the people that really matter in life, you
Yeah,
know?
definitely, definitely.
I think this is a good introduction of how we came to that whole topic, right?
So yeah, definitely. It's really like emotional moment, I guess, for you, and really,
Yes.
really amazing of her. And it also shows like that how diverse people. Like for example, she cares really much about like people. And for example, we care maybe sometimes if
Yeah.
like we just care for ourselves, like for our goals and everything. But it's so important to think out of that, and to think also more about like the people. And because if you do something good for the others, it's automatically also good for you and everyone around you. And I think it's way more important to focus on that. And I think
Yeah.
what's really important about like short-term noise and long-term goals, is that you really know where you want to get to. And doesn't matter what happens like short term, if maybe some people say like, oh, your idea is stupid, you never will get anywhere and something like that. And then I
Yeah.
think it's important to stay focused on where you really want to go,
Yeah.
and what really matters to you, and which who matters to you, the people.
And how do you think you can keep that consistency or that focus over a long term? Like, what are like certain facts that you bound those things to?
I think
First
not.
of all, people.
I think first of all, number one is like be sure about your goal, be focused on your long-term goal, know where you want to get to. If you know, for example, oh, I want to go get like maybe say for example sport. I think that's like a topic where you can relate to very well.
Yeah.
You want to reach like a certain amount of I don't know. You have a certain target, and
Yeah.
you will fail on the way there. Maybe you will have a muscle pain, like you feel like death. You feel like you can't run anymore at all. And I think there it's the point to really ignore this short term noise. Or maybe some people say, like, man, you're never gonna make it. Like, be honest and shit like that. And then you have to be really clear of your target. So I think that's definitely number one. And you have to be as clear as possible about your target. If you already doubt that you will get to that target, and someone else will also put like something in front of you, like saying, oh, you won't make it, and you already before you were not 100% sure, then this
Yeah.
person is just putting more like petrol onto the fire, and then it's burned. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's definitely the most important point, I would say. And for me, it's like actually, I think there's so much things in the real world related to like the stock market and everything. And also there's like a time now where it's like really like short term or midterm, it's really difficult to sense and say what's happening. But on the long term, if you really 100% know what company you own on the long term, I would say you know what will happen. You know, this company in like maybe half a year or 1 year, they will be stronger, they will have more contracts, they will make maybe same profit or even more and stuff like that. And there's
Yeah.
also really important that you really know 100% where you want to get to, or where the target is, and that you
Yeah.
ignore all the short-term noise. Because like for example there now it's like a macro problem which is causing literally every stock to fall, and then now yeah, stuff like that. And I think it's really nice that you can relate it from there, that they're like parallels. It's also like
I, I
yeah,
definitely think that you can project it on different agendas or on different levels.
definitely.
It doesn't matter if it's a business idea, if it's trying to work on a passive income like stocks, like real estate, like network marketing, all the different topics we talked about in the past. And I think it's also really important for relationship. And the point I was getting at when I was asking you what you think the base for it is, and I think it's correct what you said. Number one, you have to be really clear about your goals. That every time you look at it, you know exactly what thoughts and also, and that's what I was getting at, emotions are attached to that. And
Yeah,
I think the emotions and the feelings you have while creating those goals are based on values that you have. And that is one of the biggest reasons why I think we were able to build that bridge in our heads or in our conversation from that moment my sister asked me where I was to talking about short time noise, ignoring that, and building long term goals. Namely, her values are the people that matter to her above everything else. And I think that that can be a really good base for her in the future, namely to work with people and to invest her time and energy into working with people.
yeah.
And
And it
I
really
think that,
shows like how much she cares for people. And
yeah,
if you
yeah,
care so much for people, they will care for you too. Like they,
yeah,
if you care so much, like for example, if she would be like in a managing position or something like that, and imagine she would care so much for every coworker, then like they will feel the connection. They will talk to her honestly. They will really tell what's going on and where they
yeah,
need help maybe, or stuff like
yeah.
that. Shut up,
And
Bob.
I think, oh, a little cute dog. And I think also we come back to the law of attraction as we have many times in those episodes.
Yeah,
If you give that out there, the caring for people, the taking care of them, and really asking what's going on in order to work better, you will get that back twice as hard.
yeah,
You know, and
definitely.
so, yeah, I think this is also really interesting. So, okay, now we have this part, and then also we talked, or do you want to say something to that
I
too?
wanted to add one thing about like
Yeah.
the target and being as clear as possible about the target. Yesterday I was talking to a friend and we had this interesting conversation. What would happen to the EV industry, like the electric vehicles in total, if there wouldn't be Elon Musk and no Tesla and anything? And then
Mm-hmm.
we just realized like, why is Elon Musk like pushing so, or like what is his like strength? Why is he so good at what he's doing? And what I personally think, what he is really well at, he has like his visions, and he's like so much believing into these visions, and he really like sees the future in a certain way, and then he's doing everything to get to that target. And what he, I think, is really good at is like this real visualization. Like we're scared to really think about something because
Don't
and
know.
he's like fully letting himself into that, and he's even going like as crazy and thinking like, okay, maybe Neuralink, maybe we have a little chip in our brain and stuff like that. It's things that are like way past our imagination, and he fully opens himself for that, and then
Yeah.
he fully commits to that. And I
Yeah.
think we are actually, we don't even do the first step, because we know as more as we kind of visualize it, as more we get into it, as more we feel it, we think, oh fuck, we actually have to do it then, you know. That's why we
Yeah.
don't even into imagination that deep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's limited by certain beliefs,
Sorry.
I think. I think it's limited by certain beliefs that we heard or that we were taught through childhood, through parenthood, through school, through the environment as growing up and working also. And I think it is awesome that we have people like that just lead by example, even if it might seem as a crazy example to some people. But
Yeah.
if we don't have visionaries like those, we'll never step forward. The same example is there was this seaside society project in Lombok in Indonesia. It's called Tampa Hills. We also talked about that once. And I just watched that vlog again this morning while having breakfast. And I had the same feeling in my head as you were just talking about Elon Musk,
Mhm.
because there's those two Swedes. The one guy has been living in Indonesia for the past 30 years, and he's building a lot of real estate. And the other guy just went there 4 years ago, learned the language for half a year, built a villa, and gave it for rent, and realized that there's so much potential in it. So
Mhm.
now they bought this whole huge plot of land, multiple hills by the seafront, and they're now building a whole society with villas, with society center, and also all the jobs that are involved are giving to the natives there in order to strengthen their infrastructure.
Yeah.
And if you look at them walking through just nature, like it's just hills and grass and dirt, and they're going like, yeah, we're gonna have that bill there, and then it's gonna happen there, and people might also call them crazy, but
Yeah.
the first villas are already built.
Or maybe even like the villages in the beginning, they're like not accepting it properly, or they feel like, oh, they want to rip them or whatever, and then they
Yeah,
just going like, there's so many people will throw stones against you. Like maybe they even do it because they're jealous, or it doesn't matter why it happens, but you need to really see your target, like what you want to,
yeah,
what you want to change in the world. And
yeah,
if you're really clear about that, like no matter what, like you can tell me everything like against me, like if I know where I want to go, like it won't affect you at all. It
yeah,
maybe it will even help you, because you think um maybe some things will give you like critical point, and you will adjust and you will even get better. But you have to be careful there, and
yeah,
some things which you will put against you, they're just bullshit. That is
yeah,
just people being jealous and just saying, "Oh, it never works," but for no reason. But
yeah,
if you hear like really good criticism, you have to be open for that, and also try to take as much out of it as possible, I think.
yeah. And I
And,
think that is what goes back to initial values, because if you get to know a person that practices constructive criticism
mhm.
and you're open to that because you're an open person, you know you can take that. But
Yeah,
then you need to differentiate between constructive criticism and people just trying to shit at you, you know?
the
And
haters
I think
haters gonna hate. And that's also
yeah,
something I really appreciate about Elon Musk. Like there's so many haters, so many people, so many naysayers and everything. But like he knows that he wants to push electricity, and he like actually his goal is to go to Mars. I think he's don't even caring that much anymore about the EVs, but still
yeah,
he has his vision and he keeps going. And
yeah,
also like he's pushing so strongly against the establishment. Like I appreciate it a lot, man. He's
yeah.
really like he's showing, hey, like he's actually for the people way more, I would say, than the others, like the other big CEOs.
Yeah, and he's also leading by example. Like
Yeah,
the things he does, you can actually see them. As when a lot of people that are, for example, in politics, and I'm not saying we don't need politicians, nothing like that. We definitely need some sort of delegating force.
sure.
But often in times there's a lot of people that just talk. They don't do anything.
Yeah,
And he has proven that he can lead by example, as
yeah,
you said, by multiple companies. And
Yeah.
what I also wanted to say about, all the haters and everything, all the obstacles, they can always be there
Yeah.
as long as your goal is bigger than the obstacle. Because if this is like your eye and your view, and this is the obstacle, the goal has to be at least that big.
Yeah.
So you can always see your goal behind the obstacle. I think this is a really nice metaphor for that.
Yeah, really good to visualize it, definitely. And just one thing I want to add for Elon, like what you said, that he actually does it, or he's actually doing it, and also he has a big impact with that on other people. I just did an Instagram story just right before about the same topic, and for example, if you are like a motivated person, if you get shit done, like for example the people around you, they also will start getting their shit done. Maybe your kids will get your shit done, and then imagine like how big your impact is. For example, you go to one friend and you motivate him, you have a deep talk with him, and he will maybe change his life, and then he has like 5 other friends, and then it's just continuing like that. And if you're really honest to yourself, you can have an impact on a whole generation and a generation beyond. And
Yeah.
that's something also we have to realize. We kind of have a responsibility there. It's not
Yeah.
just it's not just if we are lazy that we're lazy for ourselves. It's literally that we do like bad things for the people around us then too. And realizing that, I think you way more can consciously act in front of other people, how you deal with things, and it's
Yeah.
like a new standard.
Because I think it's connected to three things. It's connected to principles,
Yeah.
discipline, and also taking the chances that others don't have.
Yeah. And
Because a
also
lot
like
of
setting a
us,
base, setting a standard,
yeah,
setting
because
a new normal.
yeah, yeah, because I think what I was trying to say with that is that a lot of people realize they have a good life. I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking about now like Western countries where we actually can do whatever the fuck we want every day, and they know that. But oftentimes, the first hint is they're not really thankful for it. They just take it as it is.
Yeah.
And the second thing, even if some people are grateful, I think a lot of us should make more of the opportunities we have. And it doesn't matter if it's making money and open a nonprofit organization in order to build schools in the middle of nowhere, or if it's just your engagement that you have because you have a safe job and you can take the time you have in order to help other people. But the sequence, the end of it is always, in my opinion, the same: to take opportunities that we have that others don't
Yeah.
in order to give them opportunities they don't have yet.
Yeah.
And with that, there's a chain of giving and enhancing and educating each other. And that doesn't matter if it is, you know, giving a homeless person a job, or if it is this friend of mine that is now being taught how to trade stocks by his boss at the company he actually just works at.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what kind of education it is.
Yeah. Just realize like the bigger picture. I think that's maybe sort of
Yeah.
to sum it
Yeah.
up a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think today we had some real amazing thoughts here. Like it started kind of with like short-term noise, and but then it got like really broad. And I think also that we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about like people like Elon or so. It's always nice to see to have like kind of like an example. I
Yeah.
think like way easier to kind of take something out there because you know how they act, how they do, and stuff like that. That's really
Yeah.
nice. And yet to sum it up, I think like it's really important to know your target. Like Leon said, also like the target needs to be higher than the stones which are coming against. Like you really
Yeah.
need to know where you go,
Yeah.
like the direction and everything. And also like sure there will be some short-term noise. Ignore the hate and take the constructive like the criticism, like the really good stuff, take it out of there and get stronger.
Yeah.
And what else did we had?
I
Yeah.
think that the last thing I would add to what you just said, because I think basically that's it. The last thing I wanted to add when I said principles, um, you can take them from both sides depending on your perspective.
Mm-hmm.
As you a couple of minutes said, there's a lot of people that have hate at you. When we talked about the seaside society, it might be that people throw hate at those people even if they don't have any reason to hate them, but
Yeah.
they hate them out of principle.
Yeah, or just because
But
it's new, just because they're scared, just because they don't know, or because they're jealous. They can
yeah,
be no
exactly. But
reason, but
being
there's no real point behind it.
that's what I'm saying, because being afraid of those people and not actually checking out what they're doing is as much of a principle as the other people. And that's now the positive side, depending on the perspective. As I
Yeah.
said, their principle is to just do that
Yeah.
because they have that target and they're going to do it no matter what, because it's their principle. And I think with that being said, we can sum it up for today.
Yeah, and what I definitely just want to talk about once again, it's like realizing how huge your impact really is. Like, for example, you just need to talk to one friend, he talks to 5 friends, and each of them talks to 5 other friends. Then you're like already like more than 70 people where you have a positive impact to, and you really need to realize that. And especially thinking about like your family, your friends, maybe your kids one day, like how you act, how you deal with things, that's how the people around you will over time also deal with things.
Yeah.
And just realizing that you kind of have a responsibility there. Yeah, that's important, man. Like get conscious, like guys, get conscious about that topic.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome. All right, I think yeah, we just leave it in the room like this, all the energy,
I
take
would
it,
say so.
guys. Leave some comments, leave some interesting thoughts, and yeah, have a good weekend, enjoy the weather.
Yep.
And yeah, see you
Same
next
here.
time.